refresh this to make sure it's up. Yep, I can see me. There I am dancing. Let me get that pop-out chat going. Hi, Bugs. Hey, everybody's here. Pop-out chat. There we go. What's up, Craig? How's it going? Oh no. I messed this up. I made everybody's thing pink, but I'm wearing pink, and I'm sitting like right there. Hey, Big Dog Bark. How's it going? I gotta fix this. How can we... Let me figure out what I can do real quick. How can I rectify this? Should I go to this side? Yeah, we'll do that. But then I gotta move Pinata Beetle. Give me a second. Oh, Big Dog, you changed your name. Good. That way I don't have to say the full thing. But I can say Big Dog Bark. You may notice I am wearing an old mask. I had to wash the battle suit today. Had a couple battles this weekend. So I'm wearing an older style mask, not as much silver on it. A little bit more arrow, a little bit more teeth. All right, hey Dishonored, how's it going? Let's see how many bugs we got in here. How was your Wednesday? What have you been up to all day? You forgot the tassels. It's okay. You can't really see the tassels with this one. They're not as big as the other one. The other one, the tassels are gigantic. They're silver and blue. This one has dark blue and light blue, and they are everywhere. But this one, if I can tuck them back and you can't really see them. This one worked a lot better with my entrance hood. The other ones I have to kind of fold up in the entrance hood so that when it comes down, then they finally, boom, come down, and it's all L'Oreal kids. Pretty good watching some Jimmy Stewart. I did nothing today. Good. Today's a rest day then. I was writing all day. Good. Today's not a rest day for you, Craig. Work was tough. Yeah. Trust me, work's like that. But that's why we come here, to hang out, relax, talk with some bruggers. If y'all were here on Monday, bruggers was our word of the day. I'm still trying to figure out this pink thing. Maybe I picked the wrong color for the chat. But if you weren't here on Monday, you kind of missed the joke. Just to explain it, we wear pink on Wednesdays. So that's why I'm wearing pink. If you're wearing pink as well, go ahead and tweet me a picture, Instagram a picture of you wearing pink, and just tag me in it and be like, hey, hashtag Beatles Comic Box, hashtag we wear pink on Wednesdays, and we'll make that a thing. So I'll probably have to change the chat back white. I didn't actually anticipate my shirt and covering the chat a little bit as much as it is. So probably not the best idea on my end. I'll pause my movie to pay full attention to you. Thank you. So, since we have a bunch of bugs in here already, we'll get down to it. Ladybugs and gentlebugs, it is Wednesday, and here on the Super Beetle Games Twitch stream, Wednesday means two things. One, we already said, that was two. One, we already said, we wear pink on Wednesdays. Like I said, if you're wearing pink, go ahead and tweet it out to me. Instagram it out to me. Shoot, Facebook it to me. We wear pink on Wednesdays. 2, Wednesdays Wednesday nights means Beetle's Comic Box. It means we sit here and talk about comic books, no video games, just me and you, Bugs. My attention is fully at you. You can ask all the questions you want. We'll get into comic books. And the first thing I probably should always ask on this show is who's read any books this week or so far or today, because comic books drop Wednesday morning and we do this Wednesday night, so it's kind of like a short turnaround time. Trust me, I struggle to read all the books that I need to read. And this week we usually keep it to 4 or 5 books. This week we kept it to 4 because it seemed to be a smaller week in comic books. So as long as we don't get rated like last time, it'll be a shorter show. And then all you bugs can go to bed real easy, because I know a lot of you are on the East Coast. Some of you are in Canada. Some of you are in Mexico, which is great. Like, everybody's everywhere. I heard that you said last Wednesday that you used to read Archie comics. I did read Archie comics, and I read Archie comics a lot when Mark Raid. Terrible name. Mark Raid. Bugs have to stay away from Mark Raid. When Mark Waid relaunched Archie Comics, I was absolutely all hands in. It kind of reminded me of like Degrassi, I guess, in comic form, if that makes sense. But with characters you know and love already, where they don't have to cycle out like Degrassi does all the time. New Mexico. A lot of you bugs are in New Mexico too, which is also dope. Have you read the Spider-Man Deadpool story? It's fantastic. I've been reading the trades. I've read a couple of Spider-Man Deadpools. Like I said last week, I'm just jumping back into comics. I've read a couple of Spider-Man Deadpool. So before we get into this, let's explain my Deadpool problem. And I know a lot of you are not gonna like it, because a lot of people don't like it, but that's okay, because everyone's entitled to their own opinions. So, my thing with Deadpool, I caught up on Secret Empire this week. Good, because we're gonna talk about Secret Empire. My thing with Deadpool is that back years ago, probably around the first Civil War era Marvel Comics, Wolverine was in everything. You could not pick up a book without seeing Wolverine on the cover, without Wolverine. He could be in the cover and he wouldn't even be in the book, or he'd be in the last panel of the book, and it's like they just used Wolverine to sell comics. And Wolverine was a hot character at the time. Super cool, still super cool. Just I guess he's cooled down since then. Deadpool is that now. Deadpool hit this spot where Deadpool became the voice, and a lot of writers, admittedly, like when Deadpool is written well, Deadpool is written really well. Rick Remender on X-Force does him really well. Joe Kelly is the one person I want to write Spider-Man forever, and that's why we haven't pulled a Spider-Man book yet, because Dan Slott is still on Spider-Man, and it breaks my heart. But Joe Kelly writes a really good Deadpool, and when Deadpool is not written well, it just seems like a writer went on a comics forum online and just highlighted phrases from a comics forum and put them into the speech bubble for Deadpool. And it gets me sometimes, because it's just lazy writing and he just panders sometimes. But like I said, when Deadpool's written well, Deadpool is really, really well done. And when he's used as just a vehicle to sell comics, put him on a cover or pair him with somebody, not saying that Spider-Man Deadpool is that, because I know that book has been good and has its ups and downs. And shoot, Joe Kelly writes. I don't know if he still writes it or he's written it for a while, but he wrote it. A couple of issues that I read, he wrote. And so Deadpool is just that thing, that character that Marvel puts on comics, that Marvel puts on TV shows right now, that Marvel puts wherever they can when they know something needs to sell and it needs that little extra push, because people will buy Deadpool because you can write Deadpool as the smart. He just finished working on it. Okay, great. You can write Deadpool as the smart, tragic character that he's meant to be, I guess. Or you can ham-fist it and write Deadpool as as like Craig said, the borderline meme. So that's my problem with Deadpool. So I'm planning on picking up Spider-Man Deadpool once Joe Kelly's done, if he just finished up, and then everything from then on out after the Marvel Legacy stuff, because I know it's going to be Spider-Man versus Deadpool. So we'll get into that too. Let's see, Deathstroke is so much better. I've heard Deathstroke is really good, especially after the New 52 stuff. Cynical says, I hate Wolverine. He's not a hot little potato right now. He never was. Spider-Man forever. Trust me, there was a time when Wolverine was in every comic you could pick up. You could not pick up a comic. You could not go to the shop without seeing 8, 9, 10 Wolverine books on the shelf that Wolverine was in or starred in or was on the cover of or was in the last panel of. Like, he was there. He was a hot little potato. There are a lot of people that love Deadpool. I don't not love Deadpool. Like I'm saying, I hate's a strong word. Super Beetle doesn't hate. I strongly dislike a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ham-fisted. A very pandering, a very sloppy, a very non-well-written Deadpool. I'm more of a DC guy, but I read 2 Marvel comics. Which 2 are that? My favorite Batman villain. Favorite Batman villain. There's a lot of them. I guess if I would have to choose one, Man-Bat. Cause he's a giant bat. Like what would you do? Take it from my instance. I am Super Beetle. What would I do if I got into the wrestling ring, and then out from the entrance, comes in the wrestling ring, slides in, is a physical 7-foot tall beetle, like bug wings and all. That's the scariest thing ever. Man-Bat is that to Batman. He's like, maybe I chose the wrong name because someone decided to create this. So that's kind of scary. I am heavy Marvel, but Injustice has really pulled me back into New 52 DC, and I'm happy about it. New 52 DC or Rebirth DC? Because technically, Rebirth has been happening for about a year now. So, New 52 ended, probably even before that, because they had DCU as well. That was very short-lived. Riddler is legitimately my phone background. Dope. My phone background is Cody Rhodes with the Ring of Honor title, because I saw it up close at bar wrestling a few weeks ago, and it was like the most beautiful title I've ever seen. DC has great things, but they tend to go crazy on the universes more than Marvel, if that's even possible. Man-Bat, Condiment Man. So DC and Marvel, and that's like when I was growing up, and it's sort of changed recently, but when I was growing up, there were 2 fundamental big differences between DC and Marvel. And Marvel was admittedly what you liked as a teenager, and DC is what you liked as a child. Because here's what it was. DC characters were gods pretending to have people problems. Whereas Marvel characters were people with problems pretending to be gods. And what I mean by that is, Superman doesn't have to be Clark Kent. Superman doesn't have to do anything. Superman can get up and fly away. Superman can just be Superman 100% of the time, if he wanted to. Spider-Man cannot not be Peter Parker. He needs Peter Parker to be Spider-Man. And so that was always the difference growing up between Marvel and DC. DC is kind of rectifying that right now. Their characters are a lot more relatable. And so they're getting a lot more of that audience. Superman's a dad now. Superman can't just be Superman if he wants to anymore. Superman has to go home and be a father to John. So that's relatable to people. So I think that's the big thing about how they're drawing it in. What about Batman? Batman's got a whole family now too. Batman could go, and he has before, sink in the dark and just stay Batman for weeks at a time. Never come out, never be Bruce Wayne. But guess what? His family forces him to be Bruce Wayne now. It's not just Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson didn't just go off and be Nightwing and say you're on your own. It's not just Tim Drake. Now he's got Damian. Now he's got Alfred. Now he's got this whole Bat family, who's not just his family of bats, but it's also his family on the outside too, as the Wayne family. The Wayne family, I mean. Oh, okay. So, without further ado, sorry, I chatted way too much randomly at the beginning of this. We've been going about 15 minutes now. So, let's get into the comic books for the week. And the first one, it's already been mentioned in the chat. Easily the biggest book this week. Because, like I said, it wasn't a big week for comics. Biggest book this week, Secret Empire Oh, what's up, Lewis? Thanks for following. Secret Empire number 7 came out this week. See, there's Widow, and there's Hydra Cap in the middle. What's up, Angelina Daniel? Welcome. Oh, speaking of, I totally forgot to mention this at the top. Bugs! So, besides the Wrestle Circus news, some other big news this week. I got affiliated by Twitch. Thanks to all of you following and everything. So, there's a new button up there, subscribe. You can do that if you want to. If you got Amazon Prime, throw it that way too. That would be dope. Just the same as the tips, everything from this channel goes to being my gear, my training, and all that good jazz. So it's all because of you, Bugs. And if you want to donate and support a little more, there's different ways to do it now. So thank you. But like I said, back to see, Twitch Prime. What's up, big dog? Thanks. So back to Secret Empire. Boom. And it's still the zombie. I gotta change that. I gotta make the subscriber something different. Secret Empire got its own entrance music with that follow tune. It did. That's the Stone Cold one. That's not even the follow tune, right? So, Secret Empire number 7. Last week, we got a lot of, I guess you could say, powder kegging. A lot of like, all right, is he or isn't he? Is Cap gonna go over the edge? We gotta, like, do we have to kill Captain America? This issue says yes, and the end of the last issue says yes, and this issue focuses a lot on Miles Morales and ties it all the way back to Civil War II. I guess not all the way back, a couple of months back to Civil War II in a very interesting way. Basically, what we thought was inevitable became inevitable. Miles ended up on Capitol Hill with Captain America, and the way it gets there is very it gets you in the heart, because Miles has been taken in by Black Widow. He's been taken in, and he's been mentored this whole time throughout this event by Black Widow, and it's all to kill Steve Rogers, because that's ultimately what he knows he has to do. That's ultimately what everyone saw him do in the visions given to them in Civil War II. Hey, Craig, thanks for subscribing. I'm totally gonna change that. Trust me. Next time, gonna be a way cooler thing. Followers get the zombies. We're gonna figure out something. Maybe a bouncing super Beetle head, if I can find some kind of way to do that. We'll see. I promise I'll get better at it. But thanks, Craig, for subscribing. That $5 price point. Excellent. Honestly, this is new to me, so I don't know what that means, but I'm totally gonna research it after. But yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, I keep getting distracted. But thank you. So Miles ends up there. Black Widow tries to trap him so that he doesn't end up a killer like her. And that's kind of the main gist of it here, is that Widow doesn't want Miles to end up like she does. She wants to kill Cap. She wants to protect him from that. So she locks him in this truck. And there's a very interesting kind of like Minority Report part where excellent would make for a nice follow subscribe sound. Well, now I gotta do that. See? I just take your bug suggestions and I throw them in there. Whatever sounds cool. So there's a really cool Minority Report type part where Miles is locked and he needs a voice code to get out, and he thinks, well, I have to be there because the vision said I'm gonna be there. So really, any word I pick is the code. It's improbable not for it to be. So he gets out. We'd never know the code, but it's just a cool little spec. So Miles and Cap finally meet on Capitol Hill. They start going at it. Widow tries to get in the middle of them, and Cap kills her. Simple as that. He takes a shield to her neck. She hits the ground. Black Widow, Miles' surrogate mentor figure in this whole event, is taken down in one shot because she was trying to protect him. And obviously, as you can see where this is going, this sets Miles off. Absolutely off the deep end. Starts beating down Cap and everything. That'll never be in the movies. It probably won't. He starts beating down Cap and everything. Whack, whack, whack. Captain America's just taking it. Miles is saying, you know what? This is what you wanted. This is where we are. I know what I'm gonna do, because this we've seen it all happen. We've seen you and me holding your dead body, and hey, I'm alive, yeah, thanks for following. And so, basically, Miles ends up taking the higher road. He doesn't kill Captain America, and for better or worse, he lets Captain America get away. Not even get away, he lets Hydra soldiers come and take him away. He lets Hydra soldiers take him back to their base. And so, but at least Miles isn't a killer. So Cap goes back to the base, he finds Sharon, and did he have the high ground? He probably did. He finds Sharon and he tells her basically, I need you. All of my other friends are gone, and I didn't want Natasha to be gone, but I didn't think I could do this. Or I thought I could do this, but he's starting to break down basically, and Sharon tries to kill him. Like that's what this whole event is. This whole event is let's kill Captain America. But let's do it in a way so that he's not actually Captain America when we do it. So everyone's trying to kill Captain America. And then a lot of people aren't trying to. Like Punisher. Punisher, not a cool guy in this. Has a good point. Not a cool guy. So, Secret War 7. Like somebody said, you caught up with Secret War. Go back and read, obviously, the whole thing if you haven't caught up to it yet. It's very good. It's getting very good. I want to say it's one of the better Marvel events within the past couple of years, honestly. Beetle. I don't think I'm the only one, but I don't like Miles Morales at all. Can you say what are his redeemable points? Miles Morales, obviously doesn't Peter have an actual legitimate son? Peter has a daughter, I guess, in Renew Your Vows. But Miles is you got to think about Miles is to comic book readers that are younger than us. What's up, Josh Frost? Because we have a Spider-Man. We have Peter Parker. And for better or worse, like obviously Peter in the new movie, Peter's in high school. Miles started out much younger than that. And so for better or worse, our Peter Parker in the comics is basically an old man now. He runs a company, for gosh sakes. He's probably like 30 at this point. He's got to be, right? So, thank you, Josh. I made it myself. So he's got to be 30 at this point, honestly, in universe. So Peter Parker is exactly. Thanks for following, Josh. Peter Parker is exactly what he was created to be different than. Peter Parker was supposed to be the young boy of the Marvel universe. He was supposed to be the down on his luck, like kid trying to make it in life. Peter Parker can't be that anymore. As much as they bring him down and de-age him and everything, in Marvel Legacy, he's gonna go back to being an outlaw and out on his luck. But he really is older now. So all the kids getting into Marvel, and this is why you see all these legacy characters popping up, like Miss Marvel, like Kamala Khan, like the younger X-Men coming back and everything, is because those younger readers need something to hook onto. Those younger readers don't know what it's like to have a job and have all these rent problems, or like, oh dang, got fired again because I had to go save the world. No, but they can understand, how am I supposed to do this and do my homework at the same time? How am I supposed to keep these friends and not be able to tell them that I have superpowers? That's something we all latched onto when we were younger. Easily, in a heartbeat. But the Marvel Universe is an older universe now. There's older heroes now. So you have to create... And whether I agree or disagree with the way they're doing it, whether I want new heroes or legacy heroes the way Marvel does it, you need something to bring those younger readers in. Miles Morales stories are very boring without a supporting cast. And that's a lot of people's issues with them, without Genki and all his school peers. But think about it, if you didn't have those people around you, like yours would have been too in high school. Everyone's stories would have been boring in high school. So the supporting cast that makes Miles Morales is good because they're going to grow with him. And they're going to grow stronger. And they're just going to become more developed. And you're just going to see more of yourself and the people around you in Miles. And if you don't, then Miles isn't the character for you. Simple as that. And it's fine not to have a character. You could have a character. Like at the beginning of this show, we just talked about Deadpool and my dislike of Deadpool. If Deadpool's not for you, then Deadpool's not for you. He's not for me. If Miles isn't for you, Miles isn't for you. Guess what? There's an entire universe of Marvel characters that can be for you. And they can be for anyone else in the world. What else are you bugs saying? That's fair, but Peter also has a really cool character outside of being the young kid. Miles has a very flat character. Yeah, Peter had. You also got to remember, we're looking at Peter right now, 40 years later, when we say that Peter had a good character. When Peter Parker started, we could probably trace back to people saying the exact thing that we're saying now. Oh, that's cool. He has spider powers, but like, who's Peter Parker? He's just some kid. Peter's had 40 years to grow and build stories. And Marvel's taking a hit now by creating all these legacy characters and from scratch and making them honestly putting them in the place of your character, but you have to start somewhere. And if you don't start somewhere, it's just going to keep creeping in and creeping in on you and creeping in until those characters don't have any more stories to tell. So the fact that we're getting a break from Thor Odinson, the fact that we got a break from even Ultimate Peter Parker for a while, the fact that we're getting a break from the Fantastic Four isn't always a bad thing. Basically what you're saying is the new generation couldn't read Peter Parker in his younger age and relate. He did start as Spider-Man at 15, but needed someone completely new. I mean, honestly, I think Miles Morales caters to a different audience than just teens. Mostly, honestly, minorities. No doubt. Marvel absolutely is, like, throwing in different diversity heroes with the legacy characters. Absolutely. But to go back and read those old comics, they're not bad by any means, but we are in a completely different era of writing, of art, and some people just like different styles. So the people that do go back and read Peter at 15, like, think of it as the people that like classic rock as compared to new age rock or something of that nature. Not a lot of people, or there's some people that don't have the time or the money. Think about how hard it is to find comic books that came out last week. Now I want to go back and read Peter Parker from the 70s, unless I find a trade. And even then, after that trade, where do I go from there? Comics are a very hard thing to get into, and if you're not reading in the moment, or you don't have that specific story in mind that you want, it's really hard to go back to everything. And that's something they try to rectify with their online services, their Netflix for comics, Comixology, Marvel Unlimited, that kind of stuff. So it's all a ton of problems wrapped into one. But like I said, if you don't like Miles, you have Peter. Like, Peter's still there. But switching over, let's jump to DC. So there's 2 DC books this week that I picked up, just because I was looking at what came out this week, and I was like, which one's bigger? I'm not sure. And both of them are at the very end of very conclusion of their current arcs. So I wasn't sure which one's bigger. Basically, we got Flash this week, and we got Superman Action Comics. So we're going to start with Action Comics because I think there's a very interesting dynamic going on here. Because I picked up Superman last week, and if you haven't watched that show, go back and watch last week's show. I give a lot of praise to last week's show. Big Dog Bark says it can be compared to wrestling. Some people prefer the wrestling or the comics they grew up on, so getting into comics now is difficult. Absolutely. How many times do you hear, man, it was better back then, it was better with Steve Austin? A lot of people, just that barrier stops them from coming back and watching now. And it could be the same with everything, and it could be the same with comics. But last week we talked about Superman, and it's a very stark contrast here, because Superman was a very family story. Superman was a very it was Clark teaching John lessons and values and everything, and it was just very heartwarming. This right here, this is your action-y Superman. Obviously, it's Action Comics. That was a lame comparison to make. This is your pedal to the metal type Superman. Your action movie Superman, I guess you would say. And not that it's bad, because it's a good book. And like I said, this is the conclusion. So me jumping on right here, obviously isn't the best. And once again, I opened, and here is that dang Snickers panel that I absolutely despise. The Snickers advertisement 2-page spread. And it's the first thing I opened to. I can't get away from it, honestly. But basically, a bunch of villains are invading the Fortress of Solitude. Zod sends a bunch of heroes into the Phantom Zone, sends the Eradicator, sends Cyborg Superman on a mission to go get his army, he keeps saying. Turns out, not his army at all. Because as we scroll further in to the book, they sent Zod sent the Eradicator to go find his wife and his son in the Phantom Zone. So he brings his wife and his son back. Boom skis. There's his wife and his son and Zod stepping on Superman, like they tend to do. So as I was reading this comic, and this was one of the shorter comics, both DC's comics this week were very short compared to Marvel's, now that I'm thinking about it. And the other one that I got, we'll talk. If you know me, you know what it is, but we'll come to it in a second. But it just felt like okay, this book is an ends to a means. It's all to get Zod's families here, so that eventually we can have Super Family versus Zod Family. It's gonna happen. Whether it's an event comic, whether it's a little arc, that's what this book sets up. And it is painfully obvious that not much else matters in this book except for that. That's it. And it kind of underplays the whole, like, especially with reading the other Superman comic last week, it underplays it, and it doesn't feel like it has those same emotions. John's missing for half the book, and they mention it once at the beginning, and that's about it. Superman never mentions it. Maybe he doesn't know. Like I said, I'm jumping on right here. Maybe he doesn't know. Lois mentions it once, and Lois never comes up again. It's like a filler comic, really. I don't know if it's a filler comic, but it's definitely like an episode where you catch the end, and the end's all that matters. So yeah, I guess you can call it a filler with that one single piece. Like, okay, Zod and his family are out now. Guess what Zod has? A wife and a son. Guess what Superman has? A wife and a son. What's the most basic thing we can do here? They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight eventually. And Zod runs off to fight another day because he gets mortally wounded. But that's about it. I just can't get into Superman. He seems to stay very one-dimensional. I think Injustice Superman is honestly the best the character has ever gotten. See, that's what I was talking about last week. You pick up the actual not Action Comics, Superman. Start where he got his son of Superman. It becomes very less like I was talking about before, where Superman's a god pretending to have problems, and it becomes a lot more like, I'm Superman, but shoot, I'm a dad now. I have to teach another human, another Kryptonian lessons and morals, and I may have this iron strong will, but he doesn't, and I have to show him how to have that. But Superman's another character that's the same way. It's for years it was either you like him or you don't. And for years, the only way to make Superman cool was to make him evil. Injustice Superman, for example. Which is why they went back to that well a lot, about making Superman the bad guy of the story. Because what do you do when the first hero, the hero that started it all, the hero that can beat, honestly, anyone, becomes the enemy? And if you really like Injustice, I absolutely recommend picking up Irredeemable by Mark Miller, because Irredeemable is about that exact thing. It's Injustice before Injustice, but I don't want to say it does it better, because it's obviously heroes and characters that you don't know. They're in the Millerverse, but it's very much the blueprint for Injustice, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So Irredeemable by Mark Waid. If you haven't read it, pick up at least the first volume, see if you like it. So now, as we talked about before, Flash. A very, very, very short comic, I feel like. Easily read it in about 5 minutes. I don't know if it was just there wasn't a lot of words, or there was very big panels as much. But it's very much a short comic. Superman was the tool she used. I think you're talking about Wonder Woman and Injustice. I haven't played Injustice 2 yet, so I should probably watch that and get on it. Injustice 1, really good, but I heard Injustice 2, like, just turns the whole story on its side. Let's see. Okay, so Flash. That's what we're getting to. Flash. If you like the show, you'll like this comic book because it's based solely around Barry and Eobard Thawne, and the obsession that Eobard has with making Barry's life an absolute hell. I would suggest go back, because I would kind of like to go back and read the first parts of this arc, because it ends with them already going at it. It starts with them already going at it. It starts with them being the roles are a little reversed. Pun intended. The roles are a little reversed, but it's not a flashback. It's flash forward, definitely. But Barry's kind of not the villain. Barry's definitely more of a gray area character. It's not black and white. Eobard, definitely the bad guy, but it seems more like the main focus is Iris and what Barry's lies do to Iris and her family. Oh wow, I thought the Flash comic was the Looney Tunes crossover when I read Flash Roadrunner. No, it's not. Roadkill is what it's called. I picked up this. I didn't see Flash Roadrunner at my shop. I would have picked it up. I know Batman Elmer Fudd sounds cool. I think that's the one it is. What they're doing with the Reverse Flash is great. I agree. I like it, and I'm interested to see what happens next, especially because spoiler alert, Reverse Flash kind of dies at the end. Iris kind of just kills him off real quick. Barry takes his powers away. He can't run, and he tells him, "You know what? I've lost my powers before." Vicky Tremor, thanks for following. What's up? Flash tells him, or I'm sorry, Reverse Flash tells him, "You know what? I've lost my powers before, and I'm gonna lose them again. But me murdering your mother, me doing all this bad stuff to you, that is nothing compared to what's gonna happen in 10 years. You look 10 years down the road, and you're gonna beg for me to do all that stuff because I'm gonna just mess up your life." And Iris just takes it to him. Simple as that. And even then, Iris doesn't want to. She takes it to him not to save Barry. She takes it to him to save herself. Because at this point, she's done with Barry's lies and everything. To me, Reverse Flash is the most villainous villain in DC. Has right up there with the Joker. Reverse Flash is super cool. And I've done a lot of explaining this episode, but I like talking about comics with you bugs. And so we'll talk about Reverse Flash for a second. Reverse Flash is so sadistically crazy that it's amazing. The Joker shows up, and the Joker, Sean Don XCCI, I think that's a Roman numeral, but Sean Don, thanks for following. So the Joker shows up, and he's just like, "I want chaos, but also me and Batman, he's kind of the other side of my coin and everything. Cool, create chaos." Reverse Flash is a man who grew up idolizing Barry Allen years after Barry Allen was a thing. Imagine you grew up and you're like, "Man, you know who was really cool? Freddie Mercury. I love Freddie Mercury. I idolize him. I want to be Freddie Mercury." And then you grow up and you idolize Freddie Mercury so much that you start to hate the fact that you can't be Freddie Mercury. Batman is my boo, the Joker. That's what I was getting at, but I didn't want to straight out say it. Beast Johnson, what's up? Thanks for following. Billy Idol's long lost brother. So Eobard travels back in time and just makes the Flash's life a mess, because seeing him in pain makes him happy, because he will never be Barry Allen, but he can make Barry Allen suffer the way that he himself suffered growing up. When Barry Allen was his beacon of hope, now his beacon of hope is that pain. and it's such a crazy dynamic. Pick up Flash Rebirth. Not the one that just came out. Go way back. Jeff Johns' Flash Rebirth. It's anyone that knows New Age Flash, anyone that watched the show, and that's where they learned about the Flash. If you pick up Flash Rebirth, that's the basis for all of that. Damn, Barry, stop messing with the timeline. Exactly. Like, two things in comics will forever happen, and the minute they stop happening, those comics are over. Barry's gonna mess with the timeline, and if Barry ever stops messing with the timeline, Flash is over. And Carl's gonna come out of the house. Carl's not gonna stay in the house, because if Carl ever stayed in the house, The Walking Dead wouldn't be a comic book. The Walking Dead would be done. Everything would be fine. But Carl never stays in the house. Two timeline rules for comic books. So, our last book this week, my biggest release. And if you watched last week, if you know Super Beetle at all, you know what this book is. If you know Super Beetle and you know what books came out this week, you know what book this is. Go Power Rangers came out this week. The first issue in the spin-off comic of Boom Studios' Power Rangers comic. And it's very interesting because when they announced this book, it was going to be, these are them much younger in their time as Power Rangers, just became Power Rangers, but it's more about them balancing school and balancing their daily life and all this stuff. And honestly, it almost reads exactly like their other Power Rangers book. It's obvious. It's right after their first battle with Rita. So no Tommy, no Green Ranger, but right after they become Rangers. We need to talk about Go Power Rangers. We are. Trust me, we are. Right now, we are VR. I mean, we are talking about, sorry, wrong Toku. We are talking about Go Power Rangers. So, it's them dealing with just becoming Power Rangers, and it reads kind of like the first couple issues of Kyle Higgins' Power Rangers run that's going on right now. But it's interesting. I like it. How could you not like Power Rangers? So I'm a little biased right now. But these teenagers just getting powers, there's a little bit more of the school stuff jumped in, but there's one thing specifically that I really, really like, and it might be a throwaway panel, it might not be, but I really hope they explore more. I don't think I can find it right now. Basically, after the aftermath of the first Zord battle with Goldar, oh, there it is. So they go to check out the aftermath. They're like, oh, maybe we could, what's up, pinch off? Maybe we can go. I hope it has a Snickers. It doesn't have a Snickers panel because it's not a DC comic, because it knows where to place ads. I'll just say that. They go to check out the damage from the first Zord battle, and they're like, man, maybe we should morph, maybe we should help, maybe we should clean up. And then something interesting happens. They don't, because there are soldiers everywhere. The army gets involved, and this is something I've wanted in Power Rangers forever. Like, hey, why isn't the army, especially, like, you have your man-made powers, you have Lightspeed Rescue, you have SPD, fine, Time Force, fine, they have excuses as to why, you know, the countries that they're in aren't dealing with this, because that's their way of dealing with it. But Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Space, I guess by the time they got to Space or Zeo, like, it's kind of, like, done by now, like, alright, let's let Power Rangers take care of it. But, especially the beginning of Mighty Morphin, where are all the, you know, defenses for this country at? These giant monsters are attacking, and nobody's doing anything about it. Everyone's just waiting for the Power Rangers to come. Pitch off, thank you for following. Everyone's just waiting for the Power Rangers to come. So I really like that aspect of it. I really hope they follow up with it and explain why the army just hangs back now whenever there's a giant alien attacking. Hey, meme, welcome. Thanks for following. And so I really hope they explore that a little further. That would be great. New follower subscriber graphic is a Snickers bar. I will not do that. That's one of the suggestions I won't take, because I really hate that Snickers ad. Like, I'm just gonna say it. It gets on my nerves, that Snickers ad. What else? We also need to talk about Matthew. Matthew, hey, pinch off. Thanks for subscribing on Twitch Prime. Matthew is Kimberly's boyfriend at the beginning of this, and if you know Power Rangers, there are two schools of thought. There's Team Jason and there's Team Tommy. Period. the original Twilight is Power Rangers. I'm saying it right here. Team Jason and Team Tommy. So, this Matthew guy comes out of absolutely left field. So, Matthew is Kimberly's boyfriend. Matthew is totally going to be a villain. I think so too. I don't want to jinx it. I kind of want him to get Ranger powers for a split second and be like, this is too much for me. So Matthew's in this, and he kind of seems like the only friend. I don't know. He kind of seems like he knows Zach and Jason. He jokes around with him. He's there. So he kind of seems like the only one of their friends that don't get Ranger powers, which is very interesting. A lot of people are saying Team Jason, Team Tommy. What do you think? Tommy, Jason, let's do it right now, right in the chat. Oh, it's going off now. Never mind. Sorry. I totally started something. But yeah, I hope Matthew... I don't know if I want Matthew to learn that they're Power Rangers or not. Right now, I'm very interested to see where it goes. But we'll see. Big Dog says Tommy all the way. Cynical says I don't love you anymore, Big Dog, because she's Team Jason. So, trust me, this was the original struggle when I was younger. It's like, who do I want to end up with my crush? Tommy or Jason? Who's the better one? And then it was, do I want green Tommy or do I want white Tommy? Power Rangers was a bunch of emotional struggles happening that weren't actually happening on screen, just happening within my mind. So that was my childhood summed up. I never watched Power Rangers as a kid. I don't know if you can go back now and watch Power Rangers, but it's probably not the best to do it. More than likely not the best to do it. Let me see. Just taking care of a problem right now. Real quick. I think that took care of it. Oh yeah, okay, cool, that took care of it. Sorry, taking care of a problem in the chat real quick. Maybe better for you, Bugs. I just feel like Matthew is too awkward in the balance of the book. He needs to be a villain to make sense of his existence. Does he need to be a villain, or does he just... I guess, yeah, eventually he needs to be a villain. But there's also like... I'm interested to see that path to being a villain, where he just... I hope it's not like, oh, Kimberly's blown me off too many times. Oh, see, she's a Power Ranger, that's why? Oh, okay, I'll show her. I hope it's more of like a... These guys were my friends, and them running off without me and everything. And it's just... I hope it's a lot more tragic than what it seems to be going to. Did you make the mask? Yes, I did make my mask. Thank you. How is Battle Rangers Power X? I don't like villains. We'll see. We'll see if Matthew's a villain we like or not. Trust me. He seems like I said, he seems kind of awkward, but just the right amount of awkward. Or like, okay, this bug is special. Something's gonna happen with this bug. Let's see how it goes. I'm very interested in him too. I hope it's a jealousy thing. Like, why not me? Why are they chosen, not me? I hope it's like that too. I especially hope it's directed at Billy. I hope this is definitely this book is a vehicle, and I guess the main book has a lot of vehicle, or a lot of Billy character driven stuff too. But I really hope this is a vehicle to get Billy's confidence up, and this guy is just like, hey, why is this guy smaller than me? He's not as athletic than me. He can't fight. Why is he a Power Ranger and not me? It's always a jealousy thing. Like I said, I hope it boils down to be something more complicated than that. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But yeah, if you like, you bugs already know what it's gonna be. If you like Power Rangers, and you like Super Beetles, and you like Go Power Rangers, go pick up Go Power Rangers, because this is actually really good. I hope it's at Kimberly. Like, he wants to be the Pink Ranger, and he's like, why is Kimberly the Pink Ranger? I should be with my buds over here. How are you, Weebo man? I'm good. Thanks. But yeah, go pick up Go Power Rangers. It's fantastic, and this is number 1, so it's just starting. So if you're looking for a book to jump onto this. And this cover is gorgeous. I think it's the variant cover. Here, I'll take it out so there's no glare. Oh, for any of you that were in the stream on Monday when we were playing 100-foot robot golf, this Kimberly, way better than Corgi Kimberly. Throwing that out there, because Corgi Kimberly was holding us back. Sawyer TDP, welcome, thanks for following. Corgi Kimberly, holding us back. This Kimberly doesn't hold them back. In fact, this Kimberly might end up being, like I said, the thing that makes Matthew go a little insane. So we'll see. Corgi Kimberly kept letting us down. She did, and it is always her fault. That's what I'm blaming. Like, she had no training, and she just got thrown in as the leader. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Bring me back, Max. Oh, there's the Corgis going off in the chat again. Love it. Bring me back, Max, because Corgi Kimberly was not cutting it for us. She wasn't even doing well. Like, she was throwing the swords and everything, but the swords didn't do anything. So I'm like, come on, just shoot the ball then. Couldn't do well. Although we did kind of do well the second time. She got a little training later, obviously, but it was too little too late. Corgi Kimberly was already done for me. But it is Wednesday, obviously. It's probably Thursday where some of you are, honestly. So I'm gonna let you go to bed. I'm gonna wrap this up. Like I said, real short show today. There's not a lot of books tonight or this week that came out, and we didn't get rated, so not a ton of wrestling questions or anything. I think that's it as far as everything goes. Housekeeping stuff, obviously. If you want to support me, can you message me after the stream? Absolutely, I'll message you after the stream. I did get your Twitter, and for those that didn't know, Big Dog won a giveaway last week. I'll definitely get the information right now. But if you want a t-shirt, I keep pointing the wrong way every single time. Like, I would go right hand. No, it's not right hand, it's left hand. If you want a t-shirt, canvas.com/store/superbeetle. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, over here at RealSuperBeetle on everything except for Twitch. Twitch is Super Beetle Games. If you're watching, if you know that, you're already here. What did I give away? I gave away a mask, a pair of goggles, and a shirt that I will get the information to Big Dog for, because I've been lagging on it. I got him out, trust me. I was just lagging on getting you the information. So yeah, go buy stuff there. Go get the stuff there. Bugs, watch me on Twitch live. I can wrestle. I am coming up. I can wrestle. Of course I can wrestle. I'll be at Wrestle Circus on Twitch on August 5th. So make sure to be there. Support me. Blow up the chat. Tell them, like, you want more Super Beetle. Hopefully they'll bring me back. We'll see how we do. But I got that because of you, Bugs. And I have to say it every stream because it just warms my heart. Thank you so much for voting for me in that poll and telling everyone, like, you want to see Super Beetle everywhere. It's fantastic. I love it. We wear pink on Wednesdays. If you're wearing pink right now, please take a picture of yourself, tweet it out to me, Instagram it out to me, put it on Facebook. Just do hashtag RealSuperBeetle or at RealSuperBeetle. Hashtag we wear pink on Wednesdays, because this was a joke and we quoted Mean Girls on Monday and we've made it a thing. I've already got some since before we started the stream. I'm going to go back and check again to see who else did it. But it's fantastic. DWL, I'll make the Where's the Super Beetle sign. Somebody made me a Where's the Super Beetle sign in Cleveland, Ohio, and trust me, it got noticed. So that's definitely an option to bring me out to your local indie. We can do that. So, Bugs, without further ado, I will let y'all go to sleep. Please say goodnight to everyone in the chat, because you've all been so fantastic to each other. Please say goodnight to everyone in the chat. I'm going to say goodnight to you right now. Same way we end every show. Go enjoy something. If it's not wrestling, go enjoy anything. Heck, go enjoy comic books, because that's what we talked about all day today. All night tonight. And yeah, be good to each other. Thanks. Have a good Wednesday, Bugs.